Hello again and welcome back to the PhatPhish Guitar Studio. I'm actually in the office today just catching up on a few questions that have been sent in. Been uploading a whole bunch of videos recently to YouTube from the video shoot that I did with Neil a little while ago. You know, looking at amps and pedals and guitars, and did a few gear questions and answers. They're things that people had sent in. But I realised I've had a few questions sitting on the to-do list for a little bit too long, so I thought I'd catch up with those today. So, first question from David Howard. David, you sent me this question yonks ago. It's been sitting, kind of slipped through the net a little bit. The question you asked was, what is the pedal board case that you're using in the TC video? Now, I've done a few TC videos, but I suspect the case that you're referring to is this one, which is a Stag sort of pedal board come case. Come in three separate sizes. This is like the medium sized one. So got the lid that detaches. Still got my Velcro in there. I'm not really using this so much now because I bought, so I actually built my own pedal board. That lid hooks on, and you can use it as a carry case as well. This is kind of surplus to my requirements at the minute. By the time I get this video uploaded to YouTube, I might have it on eBay. And if you're interested, I'll put a link to the eBay page in the information section down below. Stuart, what products did you use to achieve that colour and finish on your Hotrails-loaded Telecaster? Also, what hardware did you use, bridge, tuners, etc.? Many thanks. Okay, the guitar in question is this one. So this guitar is one that I built myself. It's a thin line T-type. Built it from parts probably 2 or 3 years ago now. The body is swamp ash, which is a lovely grain to it. I really like swamp ash for the grain pattern that you get. The original body was much paler than this. It's been finished with a Danish oil, but the Danish oil had a stain to it to kind of darken it down to more of like I think this was called like a vintage oak colour. But basically just it's like an oil that you wipe on with a rag. Let it dry, another coat, and then so like give it a sand down with some wet and dry paper that's been soaked in the oil. You get like sort of like a slurry that just kind of fills in all the grain. It gets lovely and smooth. And then what I did to put like the top coat on it was lots of very thin coats of polyurethane varnish that had been watered down with white spirit. I don't have the facilities here for like spraying or anything like that. So to be able to get a streak-free finish with the poly, just watered down the varnish, wiped it on with a rag, coat after coat after coat, and the odd just sanding down with some wet and dry in between, and it's finished up quite nicely. One thing to mention about the Danish oil, you get a lovely finish with it, but it's actually quite risky stuff to work with if you don't know how to handle it. Because it's an oil, it cures. It doesn't just dry. It kind of goes off, and while it's curing, it generates quite a bit of heat. You need to be very careful how you handle the rags that you've used to apply the finish, particularly in the summer. The rags, while the oil is drying and curing, they will get hot, and it's not unknown for the for oil-soaked rags to like catch light, particularly if you put them in the rubbish bin with loads of paper and other combustible stuff. So you need to be careful how you handle the rags that you use to apply the oil. So that's the finish. The hardware, the pickups, I can't remember where I got them from, but basically the Seymour Duncan hot rail for telly. The rest of the hardware, all the bridge knobs, the electrics, the Wilkinson Locking tuning machines, they all came from Northwest Guitars. Done a lot of business with Northwest Guitars over the years. Great bunch of guys. I put a link in the information section to their website. Do lots of replacement parts for Fender, Gibson, you know, the mainstream brands. They sell bodies and necks if you want to have a go at making your own guitar. This body didn't come from them, this actually came from all parts. And they are a really good bunch of guys to do business with. Very fast service, very friendly, very polite. I would recommend them, and I just have, so it's too late to stop me. Next up is a question from Multi. I was wondering where you purchased your Gibson Les Paul Les Plus from. Right, we did a video review, me and Neil, a little while ago of the half width, half depth Gibson Les Paul called the Les Plus. That was actually Neil's guitar, so I had a word with him, and he said he got his from Coda Music. He says actually looking around, there's quite a few available on special offer at other shops at the minute, so it's one of those things, if you shop around you could possibly get a bargain. But yeah, if you want to know where that particular one came from, it came from Coda Music. A couple of people have asked me about this guitar. This is my most recent purchase. It's a Hayden Williams Evo Artist. I got this a month or two back now. Basically, Hayden Williams is a local-ish to me luthier, does custom instruments and stock instruments and whatnot. I approached him with the idea of getting a guitar built by him, one of his stock Evo models, which is basically like a Super Strat type of thing, but with a few modifications of the standard spec, which is the sort of thing you can do when you go in and talking to a luthier who does do built to order stuff. Very briefly, the guitar is like his Evos in that it's a body with a top. Where this one's a little bit unusual is that it's carved top. This was the first carved top Evo that he'd done, but the thing kind of worked out, and this is now a standard model. So, which is why it's now called the Evo Artist. So the Evo Artist is actually a thing. It's the carved top version of the Evo. It's got a mahogany body, and it's got a 5-piece maple neck with a bird's eye maple fingerboard, which is an absolutely stunning piece of wood that he picked out for me. The main feature on this guitar, and sort of the reason I got it built, was the top. This is a piece of Burmese teak, very old, not seen very often as a guitar wood, partly because it's so difficult to work with. It's very hard, quite damaging to tools. So, you know, basically, I think he sort of went through a set of router bits and bandsaw blade and whatnot in building this guitar, so that was all built into the price. But it was a piece of wood that I inherited from somewhere and had been kicking around. I thought I want to do something with it, try making a guitar with it. So the body, the carved top on the body there, all the binding on the fingerboard, the dot inlays, 2 pieces of that 5-piece neck, and the face of the headstock are all made out of this slab of teak, which is actually it's a recycled laboratory bench. Started life in a chemistry lab. Had a bit of a hard life, but teak is pretty tough wood, so cleaned up very nicely and got made into a guitar. I've been wanting to do a review of this. I thought I'm going to spend a bit of time kind of getting through the honeymoon period, because if you bought a new guitar, you'll know the feeling. It's any guitar when you get it, it's the best guitar you've ever owned and you love them. And I thought what I'm going to do is play this for a little bit, let the honeymoon period kind of wear off, have a bit of time living with it, and then do a proper review. I'm still absolutely loving it. I'm still kind of like in that honeymoon period. Plus I've been kind of busy, so I haven't had the opportunity to shoot a video, but I will get around to doing a full review and talk about a bit more about the build process, the experience of working with a custom luthier, which is something I have done before when I got my Thompson custom build. But certainly it was an absolute joy working with him. He's a really, really nice guy, really good luthier, and the guitar that he got out of the process is absolutely stunning. But yeah, I'll be talking about that in a bit more detail in a future video. Lastly, just a quick note about visibility of stuff on Facebook. I know there's an awful lot of you are following PhatPhish Guitar Studio on Facebook. Facebook have absolute tinkers for not making my posts available to everyone who subscribes. It's basically an incentive for me to buy sponsored posts to make my posts available. That's traditionally been my main channel for publicising the videos that I'm uploading to YouTube. If you want to see content that I'm uploading to YouTube, I would suggest you actually go to the YouTube channel link in the information section down there. Hit subscribe on there. YouTube are a lot better at notifying you of new content than Facebook are. So that's possibly why you're not seeing so much from me on Facebook. It's not that I'm not posting, it's the fact that Facebook tend not to promote stuff unless I actually pay, which I can do to a certain degree, but you know, it's a very expensive thing to do if I want to promote all of my posts to all of my followers. Okay, so that's that. Basically just wanted to catch up with a few outstanding questions and comments. As always, thanks very much for watching. If you've liked this, then please click like, subscribe, comment, everything that YouTube gives you down there, and I'll see you in another video sometime soon. Bye for now.